Welcome to TAGtv. Brett Johnson here, Scott Burkett, and we're talking to our man Nick Tarr.
Go on the phone and I wanna show and telling it how we do. Sit on the phone, get something fetch just straight from me to you. You gotta move from the mind to that funky darker biz. The glasses happen to my way, yo, you gotta dismiss me too. Sitting gazing at a fucking star, I wanna travel. Then there's something funky like a cosmic car. We just
Little up and coming artist, graphic design, everything. You kind of shy away from the term artist. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and why we're talking to you.
Basically, thanks for having me. First of all, I have a very eclectic background of creative skills that I'm trying to utilize in all areas, bring together to offer services directly to professional interior designers, architects. I want to educate them on what I do so that they can better sell their services, giving them a better market, more opportunities, and through that hopefully create jobs for others that I can teach what I do, and then we can just get together and make things, you know.
Sure. How did this start for you? I mean, you know, what's kind of the background and where did this become a passion?
Oh man, I've been drawing and thinking creatively my whole life, and you know, it just started like I was working in a sign shop. I started metal fabricating signs, and then so I learned how to weld, and you know, kind of played around with that. And then once I felt like I learned everything I could learn in that department, man, I started doing digital graphics, you know, digital printing, vector art, and that's kind of where I learned how to do a little graphic design. And then once I felt like I kind of filled my cup on that, I got into molding and casting, man. I started doing sculptures and, you know, making one-of-a-kind things and making molds, and then trying to be creative with, you know, how good I can make the mold. And it becomes like a pride thing, you know. You want to make it good, use as little material, and it's like this is fun to like think of different things that I could do. And then I got into painting the sculptures, and I kind of learned different techniques with painting. And then, so like as I built this portfolio of things that I could do, I just started thinking like, man, there's a lot of things I know how to do. But still, I feel like there's more things that I could learn. So that's what I want to do, is hook up with other creative people, learn what they do, teach them what I do, and then, you know, because there would be no advancement in the field of, you know, molding, casting, or whatever. There'd be no advancement if people didn't have the knowledge to be creative and think of new ideas, you know.
So you bring up the word learn and educate. What are you doing to educate yourself? Is it self-taught? Are you going to school?
Yeah, I'm a full-time student, but I'm concentrating on business practices because I want to, like I said, I want to come out, you know, I do feel like the word artist kind of has a negative connotation in the professional world. So I want to make sure that I have all my bases covered as far as how I approach the business and how I portray myself and the people I represent. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I do try to, you know, be active on the internet and look at different things and meet people locally and just talk with them, man. And you know what I mean? If they have interest in what I do and I have interest in what they do, then, you know, we further that relationship by getting together and, you know, checking it out.
So ideally you brought up interior design and architects. What is your ideal path then to make this all work?
You know, it's all kind of coming together, but you know, I did a couple of projects locally with some design groups that have been featured at you know, local churches. And
what places have you had work in, like with the fabrication?
I was lucky enough to work with Touche Design Group doing a project at James River Assembly. I fabricated some paintbrushes and 4-foot paintbrushes that were kind of elevated as though they were painting the wall. And you know, that's cool. The kids really enjoyed that, and I had the opportunity to work with St. John's on their new St. Jude's Children's Hospital that they just added, and I built some fiberglass pillars in there. And you know, that kind of got me thinking about how much that must, you know, they do that to enhance the environment for children. And then I was thinking, man, you know, how can I do that? So, you know, that's kind of what I want to hook up with other people locally and do things for parks and other organizations that, you know, children benefit from, because I feel like that's the core of everything, man.
We're gonna check out some of your stuff, but I mean, first, like, all these different mediums. T-shirt design. You mentioned graphic design. The 3D structures,
Painting.
We'll check them out.
Yeah. Prop. Tree, basically.
Yeah, it was commissioned by a guy in Chicago that said he wanted, I guess he does big Halloween blowouts, and he said, you know, I want this tree, and he sent me a piece of clip art. It was like this big, a little picture. And he said, can you build that 8 feet tall? He gave me some dimensions, and so I just kind of thought about how I'd go about doing it, and I did a drawing, a detailed drawing. I showed him how I would do it. He lives in Chicago, so it's windy, so I made a steel base plate. It's got a steel core pipe that comes up, so you can set it in the yard and it won't blow over. And then it also has a hole inside the tree that the pipe goes on, so that if you wanted to just have the tree, you could put a stake and then set the tree in the ground. And, you know what I mean? It's fiberglass, as hard as a rock, it's durable. This is for, I took a painting class in college and we had to do a series, so I did a series that represents the bond that I have with my girlfriend, and you know, I was kind of fresh with it, and so I just kind of started thinking about, you know, I like drawing figures, and I just wanted to show a connection between people, you know, and it's just part of my creative process, man. You know, I just wanted to show a bond, people sharing love and being together, and yeah, man. Got my little tag right there, and you know, I have some of these available at Stacks in downtown Springfield, Missouri, and my whole thing is one of a kind. You know, I do hand painted shirts because I think screen printed shirts and, you know, that whole process is just, it's sold out. I mean, everyone does it. So, you know, even my tags are one of a kind. You know what I mean? I paint the back of them, and then when I cut them apart, you know, each one is completely independent from another. You know, so when somebody wears one of my t-shirts, they know that nobody else is wearing a shirt like theirs. You know, this is just like a hand-built canvas that I did. You know, my whole thing is like, I like to create things one of a kind, you know, so I hand-built this canvas, and you know, I just like messing around. I come in here at nighttime and put my music on, and I just get inside of my zone. My thing is like, I like to paint. I know people that paint, you know, and they buy these big canvases, 50 bucks a piece, and they get these fine paints, and you know what I mean? I'm not into that, man. This is like wood that I found. This is like an old coffee table I found by the dumpster. I went out there, I ripped a piece of wood off, and I took it home and I just started painting on it. And this is for another piece that's going to be donated at an art auction at Lily's Diner, First Friday Art Walk next month.
Look at that.
Little barnacles and whatnot.
Yeah, everything about it. I mean, if you would have told me that this was fake from across the room, I wouldn't have believed you. But then you just flip it over and you see it's just foam.
It's definitely foam.
Yeah.
And that was just a piece I was tinkering around with. You know, I was going to make some kind of a name thing for my son, put in his room. And, you know, I really like making things for kids to look at.
You mentioned Taste of Hope, and you had mentioned earlier that there's a little deeper connection to that for you, and like how this all kind of came about. Could you take us through that story and you know, take us into a little piece of what Nick is?
Yeah, when I was, you know, I moved around all my life, and I ended up in Springfield, Missouri somehow, and I was going to high school here, and when I was 17, I got into trouble for an assault charge, and you know, I was 17 years old, I was facing 3 felonies. My mother went out of the country. I moved into a car, I was by myself, you know, I didn't have a car, I didn't have anything. I used to walk to work, you know, until I bought a car. And I was this close to going to prison, man. I ended up 5 years probation, and a dear friend of mine, Cindy Pedigo, was the one that noticed my skill, and she kind of got me into the internship at Nolan Associates, and that kind of got me thinking about the professional side of things, and I started learning more about graphics, and now I am where I am today, and I'm all about giving back. You know, I want to help the kids, I want to get in touch with at-risk kids, and keep people from going the route that I want, you know what I mean? Because art is what saved me, so if I can teach a kid that maybe doesn't know where he's going in life, but you know, he likes to draw, or you know, whatever, you know, I want to teach him to do what I can do, so that he has a skill, a trade, and he can do it. And you know, I want to find jobs for kids like that, and give back to the community.
All right, so for Scott, Ted, and myself, Fred Johnson, I want to thank you for watching tagsgf.com. But first, before we break, tell everybody where we can find your work in person, downtown, wherever, and where we can find you online.
I have some artwork down at 181 Design Firms, right next to Flame. I have artwork upstairs and downstairs, and you should see it. I have tags hanging off, say Nicholas Tarr Designs, and you know, I have, and then also that night at Art Walk, I'll be meeting up with Anthony Maggard at Stacks. He was my 250th fan. He won the painting off the pages I was giving away, and check me out on Facebook.com, Nicholas Tarr Designs. I'm giving away paintings, I'm hooking up with local artists, I'm trying to do it, and also while you're out at Art Walk, stop by Lily's Diner. 6 o'clock, there's going to be a silent art auction going to benefit a local man that was diagnosed with cancer, and he's got a little girl, man, and it's just he's got some dear friends that are trying to get together and help him out, get him where he needs to be, so that little girl can keep her daddy around him.
Sure. Well, Nick, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for having me. Hey, here we go.
You gotta dismiss me. Sitting gazing at a fucking star, I wanna travel into something funky like a cosmic car. We just a speck on a planet, speck on Earth. Only there be a funky person who get to rebirth.